Fighting Illini take on the Boilermakers of Purdue. Tonight's game is being brought to you in part by the Illinois State Lottery. Yet another benefit of living in the U.S. of A. Play Cash Flow Instant Lottery. By Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By La Choy. From chow mein to egg rolls. It's America's favorite brand of Oriental food. Also by State Farm. For all your insurance needs, auto, home, life, or health, call your State Farm agent. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by Elanco Products Company, who bring you Treplan and Sonalan for economical, dependable, full-season weed control in soybeans.
And by True Value Hardware. More than just a name, it's their way of doing business.
Arena. Hello once again, everybody, and this is Big Ten basketball hysteria here tonight as we've got a sellout crowd, a couple of teams that need a victory for sure, Dan.
Well, they do need a victory. The loser in this game is going to have a tough time coming back to get in the Big Ten race at the end. I think 2 losses, especially for Purdue. If they lose here, that'll be 2 losses at home to the contenders, and they're in a bad way.
These two teams both have lost to Iowa. They both lost by 3 points. They both lost to the University of North Carolina by 13. So an unusual matchup here as we want to compare scores, Dan.
Well, you can compare scores. There are a lot of comparisons that are very valid with these two basketball teams. They match up, Dick, so very well. Both teams will play man-to-man. A lot of interesting people on the floor guarding each other. Doug Altenberger and Doug Lee will be one we'll touch on later on. But it's going to be a great basketball game, as it always is here at Purdue.
And we're going to be back with the starting lineups right after this. Right now, let's join the public address announcer, Rick Miles, with the starting lineup.
From Highland Park, Michigan, number 21, Glenn Blackwell. And for Purdue at guard, a 6'4" junior from Anderson, Indiana, number 23, Troy Lewis. The head coach of the Illini in his 12th year at Illinois is Lou Henson, and the head coach of the Boilermakers in his 7th season at Purdue, Gene Cady.
Well, there you have the introduction of the players and the head coaches, Dan Rowan, and once again, it's an exciting arena here at Mackey, a place that you can hardly hear yourself think at times.
Well, you're right, and I'm just glad we're here. With the weather being what it is outside, all that wind and all the snow that's already fallen, we were lucky to get here. The TV truck was lucky to get here, but fortunately, we've all arrived at the same spot at the same time, and we're ready to go for what should be just a great basketball game.
I'll tell you, Dan, 40 minutes ago, we didn't know whether or not anyone in Illinois was going to be able to view this game, let alone those in Indiana.
No, it was a little touch and go there at the end, but our people did a nice job. There you see some of the team stats, and we're just about ready to tip it off. We expect both teams to start in a man-to-man, Dick, and the matchup should be outstanding, at least as far as Illinois is concerned. Glenn Blackwell will draw Troy Lewis. We expected that. and Doug Lee and Doug Altenberger, which should be a great one we should have to watch throughout the game.
Well, there's the officiating crew, Richie Weiler, Ted Hillary, and Phil Robinson. They're the same ones that refereed the Illinois-Iowa game a few weeks ago down at Champaign, in which the Illini blew a 22-point lead.
I don't think they'll be getting any 22-point leads here to blow. I think it's going to be nip and tuck all the way. If Illinois is going to win it, it's going to be a close game. Purdue, with this crowd, has blowout potential. We'll have to see how the Illini cope with the pressure. Purdue's not in a very good frame of mind right now after losing to Iowa here Monday night.
That's Weisinger working with it out in front. Has it slapped away, picks it back up.
See how far out they're forcing the Illinois offense.
Norman.
A lot of pressure.
7 of the 10 starters are all from Illinois. 3 from Purdue, 4 from Illinois. Down on the side to Blackwell. So Glenn Blackwell throws up his first shot, and Illinois takes an early lead. Over the line comes Everett Stevens for the Boilers. Troy Lewis out in front to Mitchell. Now Stevens has it. They get it inside. McCants can't get loose for the pass, and it's stolen by Norman.
Kenny got away with a hold down there. He had McCants' right arm down, so he couldn't get up to receive the pass.
Well, Glenn Blackwell is off with a couple of shots quick, and Illinois up 4-0. We've just begun play here in Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, Indiana. Dick Martin along with Dan Rowan along the Illini Sports Network. Here's a steal. That's Weisinger all the way for Tony. As the Boilermakers, Gene Cady is up quickly, and there's a timeout on the court. With the Illini, you see they're up 6-0, and we'll be back with more Fighting Illini basketball after these local messages.
I was going to say they went 15 in a row without winning ever since the building opened and finally broke through, and since then they've done a good job over here.
There's Stevens working against Tony Weisinger. And underneath there's a little foul, and it's going to be on Melvin McCants away from the play on Lowell Hamilton.
You know, you're right, it was a little one, but those little ones count just as much as the big ones do. Lowell was standing there, and Melvin McCants gave it a little shove trying to get position.
Right when Richie Weiler was looking.
Boy, things have gone every bit Illinois' way so far, and Lou Henson couldn't ask for a better start to a game. They're up 6-0, and they have the ball with a chance to make it 8. And Purdue's pressure is slacked off a little bit.
Altenberger has it. Off to Hamilton. Now to Blackwell. All the way for the drive. It's batted away by Todd Mitchell, and here come the Boilermakers. Lost by Stevens. Picked up, and traveling is going to be called on Stevens.
Well, you saw Glenn Blackwell make the play on Everett. I'll tell you, Blackwell is active on every part of the floor so far.
You know, this Everett Stevens, Dan, is the 3rd leading shot blocker in the Big Ten, and he is only 6'3".
Well, he's an unbelievable athlete at 6'3". I don't know if he's even that tall.
Weisinger works on Stevens underneath Lowell Hamilton for the slammer. And Illinois leads it 8-0. Everett Stevens with the ball out in front. Tony Weisinger right on him. Now they go to Mitchell on the side.
Kenny Norman has Mitchell. That's another matchup to watch.
Across the plate it goes to Altenberger. Picks up the loose ball way down to Blackwell for the shot up and in.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable start for Illinois. Well, I did say they wouldn't build up a 22-point lead. They're almost halfway there already.
Doug Lee has it. Troy Lewis, 3-point shot. Purdue in the 3-point range all year long is shooting only 37% compared to 51 for Illinois. And Lewis quickly gets the Boilers on the board. It's 10-3. Here's Norman out in front.
It took them almost 3 minutes to get a shot off. That was the first shot they'd attempted from the floor. And Lewis hit it for 3.
Norman really playing way out in front. Weisinger with it, driving on Stevens. Pulls up, shot, no, but a foul is going to be called on Purdue. It's going to be before the shot, apparently, on Stevens.
Dick, I'm surprised that Tony Weisinger was able to go around Stevens so easily. You know, these guys have played 2 games since Sunday. They played Louisville Sunday and Iowa Monday. It's been a very busy week, and maybe that's starting to tell a little bit.
Altenberger will inbound it for Illinois. Comes inside to Kenny Norman. Brings the ball back to the foul line. You'll notice the crowd really, this is one arena in the Big Ten, Dan Rowan, where they really get into action. There's going to be a foul, and again on Purdue. It's on Troy Lewis this time.
And the fouls, too, are mounting up. That's 3 team fouls already.
So Altenberger will inbound it across the way. Phil Robinson hands him the ball, gets it in play to Weisinger on the near side. They've switched around now. That's Lewis picking up on Weisinger.
Well, Troy Jones is in the game.
Here's Kenny Norman loose from the foul line, and he's got it.
Norman scores. I should say Tony Jones is in the game for the Boilermakers.
And here comes Tony Jones with the ball right now. He is a freshman out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Flips off of the near side. Troy Lewis to McCants. Overshoots the basket. Tipped around. Out of there with a basketball is on the floor, and that's Purdue with it. And it's going to be a jump ball that'll go back to Purdue on the alternate possession. That was Todd Mitchell fighting for the ball for the Boilers. And it'll be Doug Lee tossing it in play. It's 12-3 Illinois. We've got 16 minutes to go in the first half. Lee into the side. Jumper is up, and it's in by Troy Lewis. Lewis with all 5 Boiler points. Here comes Blackwell back for Illinois. A little good movement with the ball, and Blackwell pulls up for the jumper, but it's short. McCants with the rebound, and he's fouled by Blackwell.
A couple of mistakes in a row there by Glenn. He took a bad shot, forced it on offense, and then went back and over aggressively tried to knock that ball out of somebody's hands and picked up the foul. So the ball goes back to Purdue, and you know, a 10-0 lead early in a game isn't really that much.
Full court pressure now by Illinois as it comes in there to Tony Jones. Down in the corner to Mitchell. Back outside Lewis. Back to Mitchell. Underneath to McCants.
Oh, he and Hamilton are murdering each other inside. Lowell trying to get around halfway and play defense, and Melvin wasn't having any of that. He worked free and made the layup.
Phil Coons will be the first one into the lineup for Illinois. He's over in front of the scorer's bench, getting ready to come on. Here's the ball slapped away by Jones. Stolen around. Weisinger gets it back. Goes all the way for the easy one and makes it.
Boy, the Illini caught a big break there. Weisinger decked his man over there and got away with it.
This is Tony Jones down on the side. Mitchell underneath to McCants. Basket will count. Foul on Hamilton.
So far, Melvin McCants has been too much for Lowell Hamilton to handle inside. Here's a replay. A nice entry pass by Mitchell. Got it right where he needed to get it, and Lowell was a little bit late going up. Basket good, free throw coming, and Purdue is warmed up after that cold start.
Phil Coons, the freshman out of Carlisle, Illinois, at 6'9", into the lineup, replacing Hamilton now for Illinois. And at the line is Melvin McCants, only a 59% free throw shooter on the year, but he cans that one. And it's now 14-10. You're right, Dan. Those 10-point leads early in the game really don't last very long for anyone. Weisinger working it against Jones. Out to Norman. This is Coons. Altenberger. Back outside to Kenny Norman. Stops, goes for the jumper, and a charge on Norman.
And a good call by Richie Weiler. Lou Henson didn't think much of it, but McCants was set. The feet were there, and Kenny Norman jumped right into it. That's about as calm as I've seen Gene Cady all season long.
Over the line comes Jones. Bouncing it down on the side to Lee. Out to Mitchell. Cross now to Jones. Back to Lewis. Three-point try. He's got it. (14-13) Illinois.
That's 6 in a row for the Boilermakers. Lou Henson's going to go to his bench, but no timeout yet. The Illini need a good shot here. And they're a little bit disorganized on offense, and that's due to Purdue. They're really putting on some pressure.
What a great tip in by Norman. Kenny Norman on Altenberger's miss, and it's 16-13 Illinois. Underneath to McCants, partially blocked beautifully by Coons. Flips it back now to Blackwell. Down on the side, Altenberger, three-point try. He's got it.
So Doug's on the board for the first time tonight. That's score one for the kid from Peoria against the kid from Washington.
Well, they play together all the time through high school, and right here going at it on the Mackey Arena court. Jones has out of bounds. It's going to go to Illinois. Great defense by Tony Weisinger.
It sure was. He knocked the ball from Jones's hands and then stayed right with him, forced him to step back, and he put his foot all the way out of bounds.
Substitution for Illinois. Steve Bardo comes into the lineup for Purdue. Everett Stevens comes back in replacing Jones.
All right, now keep your eye on Bardo and Everett Stevens. This matchup may lean toward Purdue just because of the experience factor. Boy, Kenny Norman one-on-one.
Well, Kenny Norman isolated himself against McCants a little too quick for the freshman McCants, sophomore McCants, we should say. Here's Mitchell out to Stevens.
Here's Bardo with him.
Underneath, Mitchell has it stripped away by Altenberger. A breakaway for the Illini. 3-on-2. Blackwell from 10. Boy, a great feed off by Doug Altenberger.
That's 8 for Blackwell. Illinois has made 11 of 14. They've run off 9 points in a row. Now they lead by 10 again. Tough shot. Buried by Lewis.
Lewis has 10. Purdue with 15. They're down by 8. 12:24 to go here in the first half.
Dick, Illinois has made 11 of its first 14, shooting 78%.
Steve Bardo guilty of an offensive foul.
Stevens was belly up on him, and he put the shoulder out, trying to get a little room there.
You know, Dan told him that's the 4th team foul on Illinois. Hamilton, Blackwell, Norman, and Bardo now all with 1 apiece. Purdue with 3 team fouls as Lee inbounds the ball to Stevens. Blackwell is on Stevens right now. Here's Troy Lewis against Bardo underneath. Shot by Doug Lee. No. Tipped around. Picked out of the air by Troy Lewis. Works to the baseline and in a crowd fires it up, and a foul is going to be called on Altenberger of Illinois.
They had 5 blue shirts over there trying to stop that shot, and it couldn't be done without committing a foul.
The 5th team foul on Illinois.
And a technical foul on Lou Henson. Away from the replay, Lou is really hot. Look at Lou Henson. There's another one. Richie Weiler got him twice.
Well, Dick Nagy trying to calm Lou down there. One more tee, and Lou will spend the rest of the time in the locker room. There's a free throw made by Troy Lewis.
Lewis will get the first 2. I don't know who'll shoot the tees, but they're going to have 6 free throws here. Keep the hot guy at the line is what I'd do if I were Gene Keady, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, he's an 85% free throw shooter on the year.
2 techs on Lou Henson.
That one in and out of the iron for Lewis. He'll get one more. It's 23-17 right now after all of that. And Lewis with one more left. He's got it.
Well, he's got 2 more to go now.
2 more. You're right, Dan.
2 bench technicals worth 2 shots apiece. There's 5. He's made 4 or 5 so far. Remember doing this kind of thing in basketball practice when you were a kid, seeing who could make the most free throws in a row? Generally don't get a chance to do it in a game. I think he just got tired.
He made 4 out of 6, and the ball goes out of bounds on the side of the court to Purdue.
Boy, Lou's still screaming, and they're still trying to restrain him over there. Phil Robinson told him to go sit down. Well, if they only made 4 out of 6, I guess he got a free one there, didn't he?
Stevens on the side to Doug Lee. It's 23-19. Here's Jones. That's Kip Jones in there now. Stevens with it. Kip Jones has it.
Jeff Arnold in there too, trying to make some room inside. He's got Coons with him.
Troy Lewis.
That's 5 in a row from the field for Troy Lewis.
Lewis has 16 of the 21 points for Purdue, and a full court pressure being put on by the Boilermakers. Altenberger down to Coons in the corner outside Blackwell.
Boilers going to a zone now to try to cool off Illinois. Illini 11 of 14 from the floor so far.
Doug. Shot by Blackwell comes way out in front. That's Pardo with it. Down on the baseline, now right back underneath to Norman, and he got the cripple.
Pretty play, very patient. Blackwell held the ball right until Norman broke open there and got it down there for an easy layup.
This is Stevens working with the ball. Flips it down on the side. That's Troy Lewis. Goes inside now to Jeff Arnold. Coons rejects. Ball out in front. Picked up by Stevens of Purdue. Back Troy Lewis. He works for the jumper. Again, Coons with a reject. Back to Lewis. Back outside Stevens.
That's great defense.
Underneath, Arnold has it stepped away. Save batted into the air, and a scramble out of there comes, and a foul on Purdue.
That is outstanding defensive work by Illinois, and Coons has 3 block shots. He's just come into the game.
Where's he been?
3 blocks for Phil Coons, and all that winds up in a foul on Purdue.
Well, there's a timeout on the court with 10:34 remaining here in the first half. Illinois leading by 4, and we'll be back with more of our first half action after this on the Illini Sports Network. Well, welcome back as we've got some excitement generated here in Mackey Arena. The Illini leading 25-21. There you see the only conference game either team have lost, of course, has been to #1 Iowa. We had mentioned that at the start of our broadcast. Each team lost it by 3 points. And then, of course, to the #2 ranked team in the country, North Carolina. Both teams lost by identical margins of 13. So the Illini with the ball, and that's Tony Weisiger working it up against Stevens. Moves it back to Altenberger. Underneath to Phil Coons. Back to Blackwell. Now to Coons. To Blackwell. Outside Weisinger. Altenberger, 3-point range shot. Off of the side, picked up on the corner by Blackwell. He lets one go from 15, and he's got it, his 5th bucket of the game.
And Blackwell has just been fantastic on offense and on defense. 5 baskets and 8 shots for Glenn, and the ball goes out of bounds.
That was Doug Altenberger rejecting the pass that was intended for Mitchell down to the corner from Stevens, and it's going to go back over to Purdue. Doug Lee will inbound it. 10 minutes exactly remain in our first half. Stevens across to Troy Lewis. Back to Stevens. Underneath, a turnaround by Arnold and a foul on Phil Coons. That's the 6th team foul in Illinois in this half. And it will send Jeff Arnold to the line with a couple of free throws for the Boilermakers. Only a 54% free throw shooter on the year. He's attempted 28 and made 15. A 6'9" junior out of El Toro, as you see, California. A substitution for Purdue. Tony Jones re-enters the lineup. This time, going to give Troy Lewis a breather. As Jeff Arnold with his 2nd free throw. Also for the Boilermakers, Melvin McCants re-enters the lineup, replacing Arnold.
That's a luxury, Dick, that Illinois doesn't have, and that's to bring in big guys off the bench to rest some of the other ones. Illinois has gone with, well, they've gone with 7 guys so far tonight, but they don't have the quality bench, at least at this point with the young guys, that Purdue does.
Kenny Norman working with it, goes to the corner, lobs it back out to Weisiger. Illinois a little bit confused, Dan. I think you mentioned it ago on their offense. And a foul is going to be called on Everett Stevens.
Well, it's just good pressure, and well, you know, they let a lot of things go inside sometimes, and they call that little shove out front. It's kind of hard to figure.
Altenberger will inbound it across the way. 4th team foul on the Boilermakers.
I think it's 5, Dick. I know it's 2 on Stevens.
1 on McCants and 1 on Lewis, as our book shows. There's Norman. Altenberger. Weisiger has a 3-point try. follow-up is good by Bardo. Todd Mitchell. Under to McCants. Foul on Phil Coons.
Be a lot of free throw shot for the rest of this half. That puts Purdue in the bonus. Basket good. McCants gets one. And that is a matchup, Dick, that, or a man, I should say, I guess, that they didn't try to exploit very much against Iowa, especially in the latter stages of that game. Purdue tried to come back and win it via the outside shot. A lot of three-point tries, but they didn't make very many. It looked to me like McCants might be able to shake loose inside. He's done a good job tonight for them.
Lowell Hamilton is in replacing Phil Coons, as McCants on the three-point try misses it, but the rebound snarled away by Kenny Norman. Up to Bardo. Good pressure being put on by the Boilermakers. On the side to Weisinger, back inside. Turnaround by Norman. No. Bardo has it slapped away, but apparently touched it last, and it goes out of bounds to Purdue. 8:47 left in the half, and Illinois leads it 29-25. Little pressure being asserted there by Tony Weisinger. That is Tony Jones with it for the Boilers. Down to Doug Lee. McCants, who is way out in front now, back to Lewis. Down to Mitchell in the corner. Oh, they expected great things from Mitchell. He's been kind of in a slump underneath McCants, and a foul is going to be called. It's on Lowell Hamilton. And McCants is chewing up Coons and Hamilton right now. That's the second on Hamilton. Coons is on the bench with two. And a 1-and-1 for Melvin McCants.
Well, McCants has really done the job, and Henson's up off the bench yelling again. Lou's going to have to watch it the rest of the way, because as you said, one more and he's history.
To take a quick shower.
Lou's going to try center number 3. Jens Kujava set to come in for the Illini here.
Free throw is missed by McCants, and Altenberger grabs off the rebound for Illinois. Gets it back to Bardo. Out to Hamilton. Norman. Back to Bardo. Lowell Hamilton. Tip Altenberger is good. Lewis outside. Todd Mitchell. Doug Lee will let one go off of the iron. No, and Norman rebounds it for Illinois.
Lee has not been a factor in the game so far. Has not had a very good start. He's been a big gun lately for Purdue.
There's Lowell Hamilton letting one release from that baseline. And Illinois back in front by 8 with 7.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Jones back outside to Lee. Well, they're working to look inside. Troy Lewis lets it go, and he is fouled by Bardo.
Jens Kujava in for Illinois. Hamilton hits the bench. As you see Lewis make that head and shoulders fake again. He's very adept at moving without the ball like that, or moving with the ball away from the shot to shake a defender, and he did a nice job there. Bardo came back to try to stop him, but slapped him on the arm.
This is the 7th free throw attempted in here in the first half for Troy Lewis. Well, he gets the roll, and it falls through, and it makes it now for Illinois 33, for the Boilermakers 26. That's Blackwell coming into the lineup. And Hamilton will sit down. So we've got Kujava, Norman, Altenberger, Blackwell, and Weisinger on the court for Illinois right now, as Troy Lewis with a second free throw and's got it. And there's a timeout at Mackey Arena with 7 minutes and 20 seconds left here in the first half, and our Fighting Illini basketball continues after these messages from your local stations. Well, the telecast of tonight's game is authorized by the Athletic Association of the University of Illinois and is intended solely for the private use of our viewing audience. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of the accounts and the descriptions of this game without the express written consent of the Athletic Association of the University of Illinois is strictly prohibited. Well, Dan, we were just talking while we were away. There you see the field goal percentages. There you see the rebounds. And Illinois, who has been out-rebounded all year long in the Big Ten, got a little margin of +2 so far in this one. But the big difference is in the foul department. Illinois with 9 team fouls, Purdue with only 4.
It was kind of amazing that Purdue doesn't pick up more fouls as aggressively as they play down there on defense.
Here's Altenberger lobbing it in close to Kuyava, with Todd Mitchell hanging right on. They get it right back now to Weisinger. Tony Y. Off to Altenberger. Into Jens Kuyava. Lobs it way out in front to Weisinger. Into Jens. A hook for Jens.
Not a bad way to bounce off the bench.
35-27, Illinois, 6:40 to go in the first half here at Mackey Arena. Outside, Todd Mitchell. The shot is right in there. That's the first field goal in this half for Todd Mitchell. Weisinger working against Jones. Gets it over on the weak side. Norman, a great move with a dribble. They box him out to Weisinger. Altenberger, three-point shot. 38-29, Illinois. 6 minutes to play in our first half. As across the line comes Jones.
That's 2 home runs for Altenberger tonight.
Troy Lewis down to Doug Lee. They got McCants playing right out on the foul line right now, and Jens Kuyava is playing him off loose. Goes underneath, and a foul is behind on Blackwell. That's the second on Blackwell. And the man who you should not foul, Troy Lewis, going to the line for the Boilermakers with a 1-and-1.
I think Lou has a point over there. You know, Blackwell's just playing defense. I mean, not nearly as aggressively as the Purdue guys are playing on the other end. And he gets called for a shove in the back on a play where actually he just bumped him with his body a little bit.
So Lewis will get the bonus.
Lou would like to plant that seed in the officials' minds anyway.
Look at Gene. He's relaxed, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know what's gotten into him. He may be worn out after those 2 games earlier this week. (38-31). Illinois leading by 7. Troy Lewis is 8 out of 10 from the line. Illinois has yet to shoot a free throw. Purdue has shot 11, has made 11. And inside they go to Jens again. Boy, off the bench, this guy's been a big help. Well, I'll tell you, what a tremendous pass from Doug Altenberger. He literally clotheslined it right to Jens. Here's the ball slapped away. Picked up by McCants. No good on the follow-up, and Kuyava out of there with it. Out of bounds to Illinois on the alternate possession rule as they call the jump ball, and Illinois gets it. Purdue fans aren't going to like that call. That Kevin Stallings over there, former Purdue star, now an assistant coach, wanting a travel call there, and it looked like Norman and Jens both had their hands on it, but so did a Purdue player. And it goes to Illinois. They have a chance to open it up to 11 points if they can score here. Here comes Altenberger right through the middle, back to Norman, now off to Weisinger. Yeah, reset the offense. They've done a nice job of their patience on offense. They haven't really tried to force very much. I can only remember one shot, and that was by Blackwell. Kuyava backdooring it underneath the Blackwell. It's deflected away. They're going to give it to Illinois. Yeah, bounced off Troy Lewis. Good call. It looked like Ted Hillary was looking to Phil Robinson for the call. Finally made it himself, and there's going to be a couple of changes. One for Illinois, one for the Boilermakers. Kendall Gill comes in for Illinois, and Jeff Arnold for Purdue. Arnold replacing McCants, and Kendall Gill will let Doug Altenberger sit down for a moment. Boy, Arnold is big, isn't he? Big arms. He reminds you of Jim Rowinski a little bit. He's not only tall, but he is very broad underneath there. Here's Kendall Gill on the side. Big might be underestimating his size. Here's Weisinger. He's not the offensive threat that McCants is, though. Boy, Tony hunts it underneath, and it's rejected, and a foul is going to be called on Jones. Well, so with 4:40 to play in the first half, Illinois goes to the free throw line for the first time. Here's a replay. Call it yourself. It looked pretty clean. Maybe a little bit of body by Tony Jones. 2 shots for Tony Weisinger. And Illinois could move in front by 11 if Tony can hit these.
Oh, no, they're going to give it to him out of bounds. They said he got him before the shot.
I don't know about that.
Kendall Gill gets it outside to Weisinger. Try it again, Tony. Off to Kendall Gill. Back outside. Blackwell. And underneath the foul is going to be on Todd Mitchell.
Well, all of a sudden, the fouls are
That's 6 on
coming
Purdue.
from everywhere.
And for Illinois, it'll be Blackwell inbounding the ball.
And we talked about Lou laying a little groundwork there with that chat with the officials. Maybe it started to pay off for him.
The only trouble of it is, Dan, getting 2 tees so quick doesn't say one for the second half, does it?
Nope. He's used his limit.
Well, 1-1 for Cuyava. That is the 7th team foul on Purdue. Cuyava rattles the rim with a foul shot, but doesn't get it. And here come the Boilermakers with the basketball. 4 minutes and 20 seconds remain in our first half. Outside, Troy Lewis, and out of Mitchell. Inside, has it stripped away. It was intended for Arnold, and Cuyava got the job done. Here's Kenny Norman. Boy, Weisinger flips off to Kendall Gill, and he's got the jumper.
Big hoop for Illinois. A nice defensive play by Jens turns into 2, and Illinois has an 11-point lead.
Tony Jones, boy, that ball was like a hockey puck, ripped off of 3 or 4 guys, and finally into the hands of Jones. But here Illinois gets it, and it was Jens Cuyava on the rebound. I'll tell you what a turnaround he's made in this ball game since he's come on, Dan Rowan.
He really has. There's the points by turnovers. Illinois with 16 points off Purdue turnovers. And there's Blackwell.
It's tipped out of bounds. It goes to Purdue. Jens Cuyava not only tipped it out of bounds, but he lowered the boom on Todd Mitchell. There's going to be a timeout taken. And now Gene Cady is getting into the act. Illinois by 11, and we'll return after this on the Illini Sports Network.
Our house is a very, very, very fine
Come on, boys. Hope we're not late.
At our house, nobody wants to be late for dinner, because our house is an Eckridge house, and dinner's smoked sausage.
Mommy, is dinner ready?
All meat, hardwood smoked, seasoned just the way we like it.
Honey, I'm home.
My Eckridge sausage is so tasty, they can't wait.
Now?
Now.
Our house.
Eckridge, the very best from our house to yours.
Life is full of changes, and State Farm is there.
I'm State Farm Agent George Palmy. If your family's like mine, you'll find reminders of how fast things change. Wasn't so long ago, my daughter Jill was riding in this. Now she drives this. Look around you. If you see your insurance needs have changed, auto, home, life, or health, see your State Farm agent for a family insurance checkup. The advice is free.
And like a good neighbor,
And the decisions are yours.
State Farm is there.
Well, there's exactly 3 minutes and 29 seconds left in the first half, and Illinois up by 11, you see right there. As the Illini, you'll notice just a moment ago, all seating in the chairs that Lou brought out on the floor. That's kind of a switch, Dan.
You see teams do that over here in at Minnesota also, where they have the elevated floor. Boy, Dick, the scoring balance for Illinois has been great tonight. Altenberger has 8 points, Norman 8, Hamilton and Weisinger 4 apiece, 10 points for Blackwell, 4 for Jens Cuyava, Bardo and Gill each with a basket. So they've scored with everyone that's been in the lineup with the exception of Coons. And for Purdue, Troy Lewis has 20 of the 31 Boilermaker points. He's had a great night so far, but hasn't gotten a whole lot of help.
Troy Lewis, of course, with Hobson of Ohio State, has the best single game performance this year in the Big Ten with 39 points. Okay, here come the Boilermakers. That's Stevens with a basketball. Moves it right into the top of the front court. Weisinger right on him. The Illini staying in the man-to-man. That's Lee on the side. Batted away by Kendall Gill out of bounds. What quick hands does Kendall Gill have?
Well, we've said that so many times this year, but he's always where the basketball is and always harassing the guy he's guarding. He's done a great job for him defensively.
Lee gets it into Stevens. Now Lee has it. Driving the baseline, and Kendall Gill. Well, kind of a unfortunate defensive move. You gave up that baseline, Kendall. No.
That's what happens when you play him so tightly. Well, he wasn't quite that quick, I don't think, but it was a pretty quick move anyway.
Doug Lee goes to the line looking for his first points in the ball game.
Doug's not that fast even in his greatest dreams, I don't think.
A transfer student from Texas A&M, where he started his basketball career, lasted a year, and then came here to Purdue. But I'll tell you, he was a great player at Washington, Illinois High School. He and Doug Altenberger had some great matchups, as Doug was at Peoria Richwoods, Lee at Washington. That makes it 42-33. Kendall Gill will get it in play to Big Jens, back to Gill. Now he looks for and finds Weisinger.
They've got a double team, and now they're in trouble.
Blackwell off to Weisinger. They want Tony to have that basketball. Oh, underneath. He had it to Blackwell, couldn't hang on to it, and into the hands it goes of Arnold down court. Here's a jumper by Troy Lewis, and he's got it.
22 for Troy Lewis, and a whistle here. Troy sprained an ankle. Kenny Norman got a piece of him after he let go of that ball, Dick, and he hit the deck. And Troy has blown out an ankle, it looks like.
He is a fine basketball player. We're going to see a replay of that. Now let's see what happens.
Norman got him a little bit with his shoulder there. He may have come down on Kenny's foot. Kind of tough to tell from that angle, but Lewis is limping and obviously won't be able to continue right now.
Well, Kenny Norman was over to pat him on the back. Actually, let's give Norman a little credit. He was really blocking out on the rebound and got his body on that baseline, so Lewis couldn't work on him. And came down really on his back and then went into the out-of-bounds area, and let's hope there's nothing too seriously wrong.
He's trying to walk it off on the far side.
Illinois will put the ball in play at midcourt. Todd Mitchell will come on replacing him. So for the Illini, Blackwell, Weisinger, Hamilton, or let's correct that, Norman, Altenberger, and Kuyava. This is Altenberger inbounding the ball. It comes to Blackwell. Back outside Altenberger, and now he dishes it off to Weisinger. The clock shows 2 minutes and 30 seconds to play in the half, and Illinois leads it by 7.
Doug Lee has Weisinger now. It's a 7-inch height advantage, but Tony's much quicker than Doug. See if Illinois can exploit that somehow.
Altenberger to Norman.
Pretty shot. Norman had to hang in the air to get it off cleanly, but he did. 10 points for Kenny.
Everett Stevens. Doug Lee, three-point try. No, the rebound taken away by Jeff Arnold.
That's one place where Illinois can really get hurt with the 3 guards in there, is on the boards. And Arnold and McCants in there provide Purdue a couple of pretty good board guys. And Altenberger for 3.
Arnold in the corner. Back now to Stevens. McCants hemmed in, gets it out on the side. Shot is up off of the glass by McCants. 1:20 to go in the half, and Illinois leads it 47-39. Kenny Norman. The shot is good. The basket will count, and McCants has picked up his second foul.
That is just in-your-face basketball. Kenny Norman put it on the floor. There's no doubt about what he was going to do when he got it here. The jump shot up over McCants. Again, that little delay in the air, and he hit nothing but net.
Well, the number 2 scorer in the Big Ten Conference, Kenny Norman, averaging right at 22.3 in Big Ten play. Hobson of Ohio State, number 1. So Norman will try at the 3-point play. He's got 13 in this one. And for Illinois, Kendall Gill re-enters the lineup replacing Blackwell with 1:05 to go here.
We'll get Blackwell out of the game to prevent that 3rd foul. He has 2. So does Phil Coons, and Steve Bardo has 3. All those guys on the bench right now.
Stevens against Weisinger. Now to Mitchell. 55 seconds to go. Out to Lee. High post to Arnold. Down to Mitchell. To Stevens. Stevens for the shot. and a foul on Tony Weisinger.
It's kind of a tough call on Tony. I thought Kuyava had hacked him pretty good across the arm, but I didn't think Weisinger fouled.
Well,
Here
we'll
it is
see
again.
You judge yourself, folks at home.
Maybe on the arm.
For Purdue, Jones comes into the lineup, and Troy Lewis still limping very noticeably on that ankle. Is going to go out. Everett Stevens at the line, looking for his first points of the ball game. A 60% free throw shooter on the year.
Illinois has done a tremendous job with him. He still hasn't scored. Todd Mitchell has only 2 points. If it weren't for Troy Lewis, this one might be over already. As it is, Illinois is ahead by 11 points. Troy Lewis with 22, and he's on his way up to the locker room to get some early work on that ankle.
Well, there you see Troy Lewis. There's a former Purdue great, Bob DeMoss, helping him out. Stevens with a foul shot, good. 40 seconds to go. The shot clock is off, and that's Weisinger working in the backcourt.
See if they don't spread it out here and go for one. It looks like that's what Lou Henson has in mind.
Does Jensel drive to the basket?
No. That's a dangerous pass about 40 feet across the floor.
Here's Blackwell. He goes for it. Pulls up. Boy, what a play by Blackwell. He's got 12 in the first half. Down to 10 seconds left. Stevens drives down through the middle, has it batted away, picks it up, gives it back to Lee. On the side, Arnold jump shot around it in. And that's the end of the first half at Mackey Arena. And the Illini will take a 10-point advantage down into the locker room. 52-42, Dan Roan, and a pleasant surprise we've seen so far.
You know, the way these two teams play defense, Dick, I didn't dream they'd score this many points in the first half. Maybe Purdue's a little bit tired, but Illinois has been spectacular on offense. And for the most part, they've done a very strong job on defense as well. As we said, Mitchell with 2 points, Stevens with only 1, Troy Lewis with 22. But aside from Troy, they haven't done very much at all.
Well, for the Illini, they've got 3 in double figures: Blackwell, Norman, and Altenberger. And that's the end of the half with the score: Illinois 52, Purdue 42. And we'll be back with the nets apart, shooting 73%, making 24 of 33. The Boilermakers still very excellent, 56%, 13 of 23. There you see your free throws. Actually, I was off a couple. I said they'd shot 17, they'd shot 19, made 14 of 19. Illinois only 1 of 2. Even on the rebounds, turnovers, you can see 9 to 5. And we'll be back with our second half action after this. Kuyava really played well in that first half. Really, when he came on the court, he kind of turned things around a little bit. There's our bench scoring, and there you see Purdue with a Troy Lewis night, 22 points. The second half will begin with Purdue putting the ball in play at midcourt. And for Illinois, the same team that started the ball game: Blackwell, Altenberger, Hamilton, Norman, and Weisinger. The Boilers also, Troy Lewis. It looks good to see him moving around without any problem. Now he's got his left thigh heavily taped. Thought it was the ankle, but apparently it was the thigh bruise that he got when he fell out of bounds after the attempted shot in the waning moments of that first half. So Lee will inbound it for the Boilermakers. It comes into Stevens, picked up by Weisinger.
All right, Dick Lewis is awfully gimpy over there yet. He's got a football pad on that thing taped on.
Here's McCants. It's batted away by Hamilton, picked right back up by Stevens. Underneath to Lee. No good. Rebound, Mitchell. Boy, Purdue really had things blocked out underneath there, and Mitchell had the easy rebound.
That may be a point that Gene Cady alluded to at halftime, was rebounding. Illinois is not a strong board team, and they were even with the Boilermakers at halftime.
Boy, what a great feed underneath to Altenberger from Kenny Norman. And Todd Mitchell trying to retreat to make the block foul, Altenberger.
Here it is again. Norman looking inside. Altenberger had sneaked in behind everybody. Todd Mitchell over there to help out. Committed the personal foul. 2 free throws for Altenberger. 2 on Todd Mitchell, and the first one good by Doug.
So Altenberger, a 78% free throw shooter on the year. And the ball is in and out. Rebound comes off to Mitchell. Up court Stevens. We've just begun play in the second half here at West Lafayette, Illinois and Purdue. Underneath McCants. Tipped around. Great job by Hamilton. Down comes Blackwell. That was Hamilton that hit the deck back at midcourt, but he's up and all right. Gets the pass underneath. Goes for the shot, but he is fouled under there by Todd Mitchell.
Boy, 2 quick ones on Todd, and that's 3 fouls on him. With Lewis in trouble with that sore leg, Mitchell can't afford another foul. There goes a lot of their offense if those 2 guys are both being bothered. That's 3 on Todd Mitchell, 1 more, and they're in trouble.
Altenberger will inbound it to Weisinger. Down on the side, Blackwell, jumper off. Boy, great rebound by Hamilton.
Oh, and he slammed that rebound in off the glass. What a shot by Lowell Hamilton.
There's Stevens. Here's Mitchell traveling with a basketball. Out of bounds to Illinois. 18:37 to play. Gene Cady gets much farther back. He's going to be in the second row over there.
He's been very low key tonight, unlike his counterpart.
Kenny Norman under for the alley-oop to Blackwell, and he fired the ball a little too hot. And it's out of bounds to the Boilermakers.
Well, Illinois would be wise, Dick, to exploit that Blackwell-Lewis matchup because Troy just can't move on that sore leg.
Here's Stevens all the way for the slammer.
All right, Lou Henson wants to, is he calling timeout or saying pinch in on defense? That is the kind of thing that drives him nuts. That's Everett's first basket of the game, and it's 55-46.
Here's Kenny Norman. Rebound to Troy Lewis to Mitchell. Out to Lewis. That's Stevens with it.
McCants and Hamilton one more time, really battling inside.
Here's a charge on Todd Mitchell.
And that's 4 fouls on Todd Mitchell. And guess who drew it, Dick?
Naturally.
Doug Altenberger. Here's the drive. Altenberger sloughing off Doug Lee, and he was right there when Todd came down. 4 fouls on Todd Mitchell. He sits down. Jeff Arnold back into the game, and Purdue's at somewhat of a disadvantage now with Mitchell on the bench and Lewis hampered by that sore leg.
But they got the size in there now with Arnold and McCants underneath. McCants at 6'10", Arnold at 6'9". But of course the shooting ability leaves when Mitchell sits down. Here's Weisinger. Off to Altenberger. Inside it goes. Norman has it slapped away. It's going to be Illinois basketball.
You know, it's funny, the crowd right in front of that play is screaming at the officials. They had to see McCants knocked the ball out of bounds. He poked it out with his right hand.
Kenny Norman flips off to Weisinger. His shot rejected by Stevens. Comes back in play. Jeff Arnold has got it.
That Stevens is some athlete, I'll tell you what.
Troy Lewis. Rebound, McCants. A foul on Altenberger. That's number 2 on Doug Altenberger.
Here's the block by Everett Stevens. He just exploded up into the air, made the save, and Purdue came back down, wound up with a free throw attempt here coming up by Melvin McCants. And as you can hear, the crowd very much back into this game. Here's the offensive action at the Purdue end. McCants with a rebound and Altenberger reaching into the left hand.
Melvin McCants so far in the ball game has made 1 out of 3 from the line. He's going to get 2. Ten points in the game for McCants. A 6'10" sophomore, played his high school basketball at Mount Carmel in Chicago. As McCants has got this one also. 55-48 Illinois. It's noisy in Mackey right now. Here's Weisinger. Off to Norman. Out to Altenberger.
Good pass.
Tip up, no. Rebound taken away by McCants.
Hamilton needed to go up strong that time and draw the foul. Instead, he tried to bring it back down and shoot it up. Not a good shot at all.
Arnold on the side is deflected out of bounds by Norman.
Well, Purdue's cut it down to 7, but there's no lack of hustle on the part of Illinois. They're all over the place on defense trying to cover up for each other.
It might not be real crisp right now as far as the quality of basketball, Dan, but I'll tell you, it's exciting. 55-48 Illinois. Here's Lee back outside Stevens. Now to Lee in the corner. Inside, McCants has it slapped away by Hamilton. It's touched by McCants last, and it's going to go over to Illinois.
Well, Hamilton won one of those little skirmishes finally with McCants. Got his hand on the ball, and Melvin knocked it out of bounds. McCants has been chewing him up, as you said earlier, inside for most of this game.
Weisinger out now to Kenny Norman. Doug Lee on the rebound.
Kenny is trying to take over control offensively, and he's taken a couple of bad shots here. I think if they stayed within the offense, they'd be much better off.
Troy Lewis. Tip no by Arnold. Rebound taken away by Kenny Norman of Illinois, and he has just been fouled by Doug Lee. That is 4 team fouls on the Boilermakers. There's going to be a timeout taken at West Lafayette. The Purdue fans a little upset so far in the second half. Illinois still leading. It's 55-48, and we'll be back with more on the Illini Sports Network. Selected by Rasmussen Communications Management and approved by the Athletic Association of the University of Illinois. 15:57 you see right there. The Illini leading by 7. And as play resumes, it will be Illinois with the basketball at the far end of the court. Phil Coons has come on now for Illinois. Kenny Norman, Weisinger, Altenberger, and Hamilton remain on. As here Weisinger works over the line. Kenny Norman. Underneath as a foul. It's going to be called on Purdue's. Well, it's on Kip Jones. And I'll tell you, that is right now 5 team fouls on Purdue. We still have better than 15:45 to play. Altenberger will inbound it underneath the Illini basket. Underneath Phil Coons. He is shoved all over the place.
Doug Lee put 2 hands on his back and gave him a push.
That's 3 on Lee.
Boy, and 6 team fouls. There it is right there. I don't think there's any question about the call.
Lobbing it underneath is Kenny Norman. Underneath to Phil Coons. And he travels with the ball. Out of bounds, Purdue.
Well, he was pushed again. Gene Cady up off the bench, throwing his fist up into the air, trying to get the crowd worked up. And in turn, transfer some of that enthusiasm to his players. They have a chance to cut it to 5, and they haven't been that close in a long time.
Everett Stevens goes all the way underneath, and a basket is up, and a foul is going to be called on Tony Weisinger. The basket will not count. He got him before the shot, and it goes out of bounds at the end of the court. Lou Henson a little upset. That's exactly what Stevens did before. He just worked himself right into the basket, and Tony didn't shut him out. And I'm sure going to be a change, and it's going to be Phil Coons going down and Blackwell coming in. Now, Tony's got to stop the movement of that basketball, Dan.
Yeah, they can't really change up. He's got to guard Stevens. They can't put him on Lewis, even though Troy's hampered by that leg.
Comes outside to Lewis. Underneath there is a foul on Lowell Hamilton. That's his 3rd. That's the 3rd on Illinois in this half. Doug Lee will inbound for the Boilermakers. It comes into the corner to Arnold. Now back out Lewis. Everett Stevens underneath to Doug Lee. Back on the side, Lewis. Jump shot is off. No good. Tipped around. Arnold loses it out of bounds. They're going to give it to Purdue. They said apparently went off of the fingertips of Kenny Norman before it went out of bounds, and not Jeff Arnold.
Well, Purdue's gotten every opportunity in the world to come back and make this a 5-point game. Let's see if they can do it. This is their 3rd try.
That's Kip Jones with it.
Crowd thought he should have jacked that one up.
Troy Lewis turnaround shot. There wasn't a soul on him, and he got the cheap one. 55-50. You saw Gene Cady up cheering on the crowd right there. Weisinger to Norman to Lowell Hamilton. Illinois needs a silencer here. There it is. Blackwell gets it. 57-50. Stevens outside. Works down. Lets a long one go. Great shot by Everett Stevens.
Well, Everett had no baskets in the first half. He has 2 here in the second, and he's helped get Purdue back into this game.
The ball out of bounds. They're going to give it to Purdue.
Lou Henson wanted a foul as Altenberger went in there and put it up against 2 Boilermakers. He didn't get it. And the momentum is swinging back toward the Boilermakers.
We are approaching the 14-minute mark in the second half, and Illinois by 5. And this is Everett Stevens to Doug Lee. Now on the side to Troy Lewis. .26 for Lewis. 57-54 Illinois. There you see it. This is Weisinger. To Altenberger. Back to Weisinger way out in front. To Altenberger. To Weisinger in the corner. Way across the far side to Blackwell. Back to Blackwell. Goes for the shot. No. Rebound is Kenny Norman. And a foul is on Norman.
You know, I don't like to criticize the officials, but Phil Robinson standing out near where the timeline used to be. Richie Weiler's right into the basket watching play, and they call a foul on Norman. He's got to be screened out by all those players standing between him and the action.
Kip Jones gets it back now to Everett Stevens. 57-54 is the score. 13 minutes, 10 seconds to play. Outside, Doug Lee lets it go. No, Altenberger slaps it into the air. Picked out by Arnold. Stevens almost traveled there. That was Lewis. Back on the side to Kip Jones. And now to Arnold. Doug Lee. To Kip Jones. The fans want him to shoot. It's like he's afraid to. This is Troy Lewis, a move to the basket. Flips off on the side. Kip Jones has been fouled. It's on Illinois, and it's going to be on Altenberger, I believe.
There's the move down the lane. Jones got it in good shape.
That's 3 fouls on Doug Altenberger. That graphic should say 3 and not 2. At the line is Kip Jones. A 6'8" sophomore from Decatur, Indiana.
Indiana Jones, they call him.
Kendall Gill comes on for Illinois, replacing Glenn Blackwell. Jones can bring Purdue to within 1, misses it, and Hamilton rebounds it off for Illinois. 12 and a half minutes to play. Weisinger works with it. To Kenny Norman. Off to Weisinger. Boy, Stevens really played him close. Underneath now to Norman. Good feed. Hamilton missed it. Rebound picked off by Purdue. Stevens, a long lead pass. Arnold underneath. Kip Jones, no.
Hamilton blocked it out of there. That prevented the tie. Now Lowell's got to do some work on offense.
Here's Kenny Norman.
Bad shot.
Kenny Norman forcing the ball a little bit as of late. Dan Rowan still looking for his first points of the second half. And Purdue, with the momentum swinging their way, have fought back to trail by only 2 with 11 minutes and 55 seconds to go in the ball game. And our Illini basketball continues after these messages.
Kenny Norman forcing it up over Arnold, and you see it knocked out of bounds by Hamilton. Illinois has missed 5 shots in a row, and they're shooting 17% in the second half.
Almost a repeat of the Iowa game right now, Dan Rowan, because Purdue in the first half shot 57%. They're shooting 42. That is a bunch better than Illinois, who is shooting, as you had said, 17% after hitting the nets for 72% in that first half.
Illinois has made 2 of 12 so far, and I think they've just lost a little bit of their patience on offense. If they'd stick with the offense, run the patterns, and try to shake somebody free, it worked great in the first half. Norman has taken a couple of quick shots that didn't come anywhere near close, and they've helped let Purdue get back into the game.
McCants is into the lineup now, and Stevens goes all the way from coast to coast and makes it. And it's tied at 57. Weisinger working out in front to Doug Altenberger, to Lowell Hamilton. No, rebound lost by Gill. Picked out of the air by McCants, and Illinois has turned cold in the second half. Stevens with a long one. No, the tip in is going to be, it's not going to count. And the foul is on Troy Lewis.
Well, some of the crowd's not too thrilled about it, but it was a pretty good call by Richie Weiler.
Jens Kuyava is going to come into the lineup now for Illinois.
Watch Lewis come jumping over everybody here. Crashed into Kenny Norman. Tip waved off. The foul goes on Lewis, and Illinois will shoot free throws.
The Illini are in the 1-and-1 with 11:18 to go, and it's tied at 57. And Kenny Norman will shoot the 1-and-1.
This is turned into a real character test for this Illinois team. They have not been able to put very many good clubs away this year. Pittsburgh, Iowa, Michigan was in the game, and they missed the free throw. And Troy Lewis was standing out of bounds.
Troy Lewis came down with a rebound, and apparently his foot was on the baseline. So a break for Illinois. They're going to have to cash in right here, Dan Ron. There's you see the foot
right on the line.
Altenberger will toss it in. Bardo is on also for Illinois. This is Kendall Gill. Back out to Bardo. Now to Gill in the corner. Altenberger.
Again, not a real good shot. Under pressure, a little too quick.
Everett Stevens. This time Kendall Gill has got him. And Gill slaps the ball out of bounds. And it's going to be back to Purdue. Touched last by Gill.
Stevens is lucky he didn't pick up a foul there. Gill did a nice job once more defensively.
Well, in case you're wondering, Illinois has scored only 2 field goals in the first half of the second half. Doug Lee with it. Back outside. It goes to Everett Stevens. And out of Lee. Altenberger right on him. Tied at 57. Everett Stevens against Gill on the side to Kip Jones. And now to Lee. Lobbing underneath to McCants. Traveling is going to be called on McCants.
Well, Illinois caught another break because he was bumped from behind by Kuyava. The whistles and the bounces have begun to go back toward Illinois, but they have not been able to make a basket and take advantage of it.
A foul is going to be called, and it's going to be on Purdue's Everett Stevens. That's the third on him. And Steve Bardo goes to the line for Illinois, and on the year, Bardo shooting 59%. He's made only 10 of 17 tries all year long.
He missed a key one at the end of the Iowa game.
It's still tied at 57.
Illinois has been outscored by 15 points from the free throw line tonight. These would put the Illini back in front.
So Bardo gets the bonus. For Purdue, coming on is going to be Jeff Arnold replacing Kip Jones. As Bardo with the bonus try. the freshman out of Carbondale, Illinois. And he's got it. 59-57, 10 minutes and 20 seconds to play. There you see it. Stevens goes into the corner with the ball. Here's Arnold outside to Lewis.
They'd like to get it to McCants. Kuyava's trying to get over on him.
Stevens lets it go. Batted around, picked out by Kenny Norman for Illinois. Up to Bardo. Out on the side, Altenberger makes the steal, but throws the ball away. Over and back ball, and it'll be Purdue's basketball. Well, once again, you'll see right here, Illinois doesn't show much patience in this particular point of the ball game. The ball comes in play, and a steal by Kendall Gill, but he's out of bounds.
Went out and came back in to get it, but Kendall is all over Everett Stevens. He's doing a nice job on one of the top guards in this league.
Doug Lee will toss it in. 59-57 Illinois. 9 minutes, 50 seconds to play the game. Comes into McCants. Taken by Gill again, and a foul on McCants. Kendall Gill, Dan Rowan, 3 straight steals for that young man.
The kid's got tremendously quick hands. We've said it all year. Every time he comes off the bench, something good happens. He reaches in, knocks it out of the hands of McCants. In turn, got fouled, and the Illini need the free throws. Let's face it, they haven't made a basket now in more than 5 minutes. Their last hoop was at 14:49, and there are now 9 minutes and 51 seconds to go, so just about 5 minutes.
Tony Jones is on replacing Everett Stevens now for Purdue. Tony Jones, the freshman out of Fort Wayne. And here's Illinois' freshman Kendall Gill. And Kendall Gill notches a mighty big free throw, expanding the Illinois lead to 3 with 9:50 to play. (61-57). Outside is Jones against Gill. Goes to the corner. Down on a baseline, Troy Lewis. It's up and over the top of the basket, and a foul is going to be called on Jens Kuyava. Jens Kuyava literally manhandled and pushed Melvin McCants right off of the playing floor. Unfortunately, didn't have to do it because the field goal would have been over the top of the backboard in Illinois basketball. Kuyava, his first foul for Illinois. That is their 16th foul in the second half, so it'll be everyone shooting free throws from now on. Here's Doug Lee working. No. Rebound. Norman. Kendall Gill. Oh, what a whirling and turning move by Kendall Gill.
Woo! I'll tell you what, that's a big league play by Kendall Gill against 2 Purdue defenders. And a whistle down low, and they've got Jens again.
Jens Kuyava, his second. The 1-and-1 for Purdue.
That broke an 0-for-7 streak for Illinois. Kendall Gill's basket did. And it helped them back to a 6-point lead, but now Purdue right back to the free throw line.
Melvin McCants will shoot the foul shot. A 1-and-1 for McCants. Rebound Lee. Underneath to McCants.
A pretty good job of not fouling by Illinois. They just let McCants have the easy one. Didn't commit the foul that might have led to a 3-point play. Now they have to come back and make the equalizer.
Kenny Norman is cold. Rebound taken away by Jones of Purdue. 8 minutes, 55 seconds in the game, and Illinois leads it 63-59. Lewis underneath to Arnold. Back to Troy Lewis in the corner. The ball slapped around, picked up, fired in by Arnold.
Well, Arnold bounced that with 2 hands. He got away with a double dribble and then made a nice shot down on the baseline.
Steve Bardo has the shot rejected, goes in and fires after he gets it back, and a foul on Purdue.
Good aggressive play by the freshman. There's the block. Tony Jones blocked it, but Bardo was right there to pick it out of the air.
That's the 4th foul on that young man right there, Melvin McCants.
They gave the foul to McCants.
Altenberger is going to sit down. Glenn Blackwell comes in replacing him. And Steve Bardo goes to the line for Illinois. and he's going to get 2.
Mitchell's back on for Purdue, Dick, and he also has 4 fouls.
They were 7 of 14 against Iowa. So far, we've been able to keep up the pace from the foul line.
That's 8 of 11 for the night. And Bardo and Gill have made 6 in a row.
8.5 minutes in the game. This is Jones. Kendall Gill right there on him. Jones works all the way. Beautiful rejection by Norman, and it goes out of bounds to Purdue. Take a look at Kenny Norman coming from the right and slapping that ball completely off of the court.
All Big Ten volleyball team.
Down to Lee, back out to Jones. Underneath it goes. Mitchell blocked away beautifully by Norman again, and here comes Blackwell. Blackwell goes all the way, and he travels with a basketball.
Oh, he was tripped.
I thought he was tripped too. Lou Henson doing some antics over there.
You know, well, sometimes we don't see things that the officials see, and sometimes they don't see things we see. I thought he was tripped.
Here comes Jones back for Purdue. Outside to Doug Lee. Lee driving, hooks it underneath to Mitchell. Gets up, it'll count. Foul on Hamilton.
Doug Lee got inside. The penetration did it again as his man came over. Mitchell was right there. He was fouled by Hamilton. That's 4 on Lowell, I believe. And a 3-point opportunity for Todd Mitchell.
Todd Mitchell's 7th point of the game. There's going to be a timeout taken. And it's narrowed up. It's what you think a Purdue-Illinois basketball game ought to be, and that's close. 65-64 Illinois. 7:50 to go, and you're watching Fighting Illini basketball on the Illini Sports Network. 7 and about as close as you can get them. 65-64. Illinois at one time led by as many as 11. The ball game was tied at 57. After Purdue trailed most of the way, the Illini led by 10 at the half, 52-42. And Illinois on a cold shooting spree here in the second half, only shooting 18% from the field, making 3 of 17 thus far. Bardo gets the inbound pass. Here's a foul on Jones. Tony Jones picks up his second, and that's going to send Bardo to the line for Illinois with a 1-and-1. Everett Stevens is going to re-enter the lineup now for Purdue, replacing Tony Jones. Bardo making the free throw, and he'll get that bonus.
Bardo is 5 for 5 in the second half.
Some clutch free throw shooting by Steve Bardo. And in the backcourt, Stevens working against Gill. Works around a pick by Mitchell. Troy Lewis, a three-point try. No, the rebound taken out of the air. And they're going to call traveling on Kendall Gill.
I don't think he moved his pivot foot. And if he did, I think Doug Lee shoved him.
Well, if there's going to be a replay of this, you take a look for yourself.
The long rebound kicks out to Gill. He's up in the air. There's the contact. You know, that's a foul.
Well, Purdue will get the ball to put in play at the far end of the court. And it's going to be Doug Lee again. They threw it away the first time. This time they get it in on the near side. Arnold. Back to Mitchell. 7:20 to play. Out to Stevens. Now to Doug Lee.
Doug Lee, no baskets tonight.
Stevens to Lewis. To Todd Mitchell. Now Troy Lewis. Comes back out on the near side.
Can't leave him.
Underneath it goes. Slapped away beautifully by Bardo from Arnold. Here comes Norman. Kenny Norman fires underneath. Kendall Gill off of the glass. No. Rebound to Norman. And Arnold and Kenny Norman were going at it down there for a moment. And the ball out of bounds to Illinois. They called a jump when the alternate possession went to the Illini, and Altenberger will inbound it.
Got to hurry.
To Hamilton, out to Norman, now to Bardo.
They need to set the offense, be patient, get a good shot.
Here's underneath to Norman. The shot off of the glass, and it bounds around, and that's the first field goal in the second half for Kenny Norman. Now, wait a minute.
Well, the basket goes. I don't know what that was all about, to tell you the truth. I think maybe somebody deflected the ball after it went through the net. They told him to leave it alone.
And Everett Stevens working it down to Todd Mitchell. Out to Lee. Now to Stevens. To Lewis. To Doug Lee in the corner. Here's Mitchell working all the way. Mitchell was 7 points in this second half. To go with his 2 in the first half, that's 9, and the Boilers are down by 3 as Bardo has it out in front for Illinois. Back to Altenberger. And now Norman. Kenny Norman. Shot is off. Forced it over the top of Arnold.
That's just a bad shot.
Stevens, a lead pass to Lewis for the shot. Good.
Pretty shot by Lewis. Lewis put it out on his fingertips with his left hand to keep it away from the defense. And there will be a timeout here. Lou Henson needs to regroup.
There you see the score, and more importantly, the clock shows 5:44 to go. And there's a timeout on the floor. And we'll be back after these local messages. From Coach Lou Henson, and here's a replay a moment ago.
Watch him get that ball out left-handed to keep it away from the defense. Bardo did a nice job. A great shot by Troy Lewis.
Troy Lewis with 28 points in the ball game thus far.
There's your shooting percentage. Illinois is up to 20%, if you can believe that. They'd shot about 16 up until now. And Purdue's not exactly burning it up either, but the Boilermakers have made a nice comeback because Illinois has just shot it terrible in the second half.
Tony Weisiger has re-entered the lineup for Illinois now, replacing Steve Bardo. That's Kendall Gill with a basketball. Looking around for Weisiger to get it off to, and he decides to bring it up himself. Gets it over the timeline.
Gonna have to do something with it.
Got it off to Weisiger. Flips it into the corner to Gill. And a foul is going to be called on 3 seconds on Hamilton.
Hamilton has disappeared in the second half, Dick, hasn't he?
Always amazes me when they start calling 3-second violations in the last 5 minutes of the ball game. Sure, that's the first time it's happened in a game, right? Outside is Stevens with it.
Purdue shooting for the lead.
Underneath to Todd Mitchell. No. Rebound is batted around. Mitchell gets it back. Blocked by Hamilton, and a foul on Hamilton, and he's gone. Lowell Hamilton has just fouled out of the ball game with 6 points to his credit.
Here's the play.
And it's going to be Todd Mitchell to the line for Purdue. He'll shoot 2. Phil Coons will be the replacement for Lowell Hamilton. So Todd Mitchell steps up to that foul line. He's been there once before tonight. He made it. It was a part of a three-point play. A 73% free throw shooter on the year. And he's going to get 2. The ball game is tied at 69. Purdue has never led in the ball game, Dan Rowan. They do now. Tony Weisiger getting up over the line. And Weisinger is hurt, and I mean he is hurt. It's that shoulder. Well, let's hope that's not a problem, as everyone knows.
It didn't look like there was any contact. He brought it over the timeline. It didn't look like it was in any pain.
Now they're going to take him directly to the locker room.
Well,
as everyone knows, Tony Weisinger with that shoulder separation problem that he has had, and it's quite obvious right there that it's gone out again. Boy, unfortunate for Illinois.
That's a really tough blow at this time. He's been the guy that's taken care of the basketball all night long, and that job's going to go to one of the freshmen now. I imagine Steve Bardo will take his place.
Bardo is in replacing Weisinger, and you're correct on that, and it's going to be Illinois with the basketball to be put in play at their end of the court. 4:57 left. 70-69 Purdue.
It couldn't have come at a worse time either.
Lou's record of 231. Only Harry Combs has won more games at Illinois. It comes into Kendall Gill. Now back to Bardo. Off to Norman. Altenberger. Three-point play for Doug Altenberger, and it couldn't have come at a more desirable time for Illinois. 72-70 the Illini. Everett Stevens outside with it. Now to Lee. To McCants. Mitchell. McCants working. Foul on Phil Coons. That's a pretty big assignment for the freshman Phil Coons. It hasn't much game time experience this year to come in and guard a player with the caliber of Melvin McCants' ability.
Yeah, it is tough, and McCants is clever in there. He's always got that ball fake or the head and shoulders fake. It's tough for the freshman to stay down on the floor, especially when, as you said, he hasn't had much game experience. He's going to hit the bench now. Kuyava's going to replace him.
Jens Kuyava on, and McCants goes to the line with a 1-and-1. It's 72-70. The clock shows 4:28. Let's make it 2 shots and not the 1-and-1.
For not being a very good foul shooter, McCants has a real nice touch up there. I'm surprised that his percentage isn't a little bit higher than it is. He looks good. He made them both and didn't hit anything but net.
It's all tied at 72. Kendall Gill works it over. Gets it on the side to Bardo. Throws the ball away, intended it for Altenberger. Here come the Boilers down. Troy Lewis. Jens Kuyava got his money's worth and then some. 2 shots will be awarded to Lewis.
Third foul on the big guy, and there's the play. Just a terrible pass by Bardo. Kind of lost sight of the defense, I think. And Kuyava got all the basketball, but clobbered Troy Lewis with the body. And not a bad foul to take. Make him earn the points. He had a layup for sure.
Kendall Gill is going to go out of the lineup, and Blackwell is in replacing him. It's tied at 72 at Purdue. 4:09 to play. And this is one of the better players, if top 5 anyway, in the Big Ten Conference, Troy Lewis. He's got 29 points in the game. And the Boilers lead it by 1. Kuyava grabs off the rebound on the miss by Lewis. This is Bardo with it for Illinois. And Illini won a timeout. Well, the crowd is noisy. They're into the ball game. 73-72. Their Boilermakers lead it with just 4:02 to go, Dan Rowan. And the Illini shooting percentage right now in this second half is not what you'd call something that we want to write home about.
Well, it's 5 out of 21. They've made 5 baskets this half after a tremendous shooting. Hey, 24 hoops in the first half. They've made 5 so far in this half. 5 out of 21. It's just kind of a nightmarish replay of the Iowa game. And actually, Dick, when you think about it, it's something we've seen all season. Illinois has not shown the ability to be able to put teams away. Wisconsin, Northwestern, Iowa, this game, Pittsburgh. They never did put Missouri away exactly, and Michigan hung with them until the final buzzer. Even though Illinois seemed to have that game pretty much in control, they couldn't blow them out and deliver that knockout punch when they had to. And it's been exactly the same story here tonight. And with Weisinger gone, the guy who handles the basketball the majority of the time, it's going to be a lot tougher this time to come back than it has been in some of those other games.
Well, the Illini return to the Assembly Hall on Saturday for a non-conference matchup with the Wildcats of Arizona. And Lute Olson will bring his ball club to town, and a good one at that. Gets underway at 12 noon on Saturday at the Assembly Hall. There you see the score here with just 4:02 left, and the Illini trailing by 173-72. And when we come back to live action, Illinois will have it to be put in play at midcourt. Kuyava, Bardo, Blackwell, and Norman, and Altenberger for Illinois. Mitchell, Lee, McCants, Stevens, and Lewis for the Boilermakers. The first five, the team that started the ball game on there for Purdue. Here's Bardo outside. Purdue back into that zone.
Shot clock down to 25.
To Blackwell, to Bardo. Altenberger down to Norman. To Bardo, to Blackwell. Here's Blackwell, jumper.
Big hoop by Glenn Blackwell, and a nice defensive move by Katie. They're going into the zone and making Illinois think about it with all those young kids in the game. But Blackwell responded.
Troy Lewis to Doug Lee. Back out to Lewis. Here's a foul on Jens Kuyava.
4 fouls on Jens. McCants could foul out 3 centers before this game's over with. Hamilton's already gone. Kuyava has 4. Coons has 3. He's on the bench, but he's going to be back in here before long, I have a feeling.
Melvin McCants with the 1-and-1. In this half, Melvin McCants is 5 of 6 from the line, and it's all tied at 74.
Free throws have kind of evened out in the second half.
Misses that free throw, and it's into the hands of Kenny Norman, who drops the ball for Bardo. And we're approaching the 3-minute mark here in the ball game. Bardo on the side to Altenberger, back outside to Bardo.
Drew Henson holding up a card on the far side, says 12D on it.
That's Jens's number. There he has the ball. Now back to Blackwell. To Bardo.
I've not seen him do that before. Some teams use that. I haven't seen Illinois do it before.
Here's Bardo working for the shot. The nice soft roll goes in for Steve Bardo.
Big shot by Bardo.
2 minutes, 25 seconds to play. Mitchell underneath to McCants. Foul on Altenberger. That's 4 on Doug Altenberger.
A word from the Illinois locker room is that Weisinger's shoulder has been popped back in. I can't see him over on the Illinois bench, and I doubt that he'd be back into play. But the shoulder's okay as far as we know.
Well, I don't see Rod Cardinal, so I'm sure that it's not something that we want to be too excited about until you see the trainer back on the bench. This is McCants at the line.
Seven of 11 for the night. Not a bad job for Melvin McCants.
He's been busy at the foul line in this second half. But he misses that one, and the rebound taken away by Mitchell. Batted up into the air, and Altenberger has got the rebound out of there for Illinois.
A big miss and a bigger rebound. Now if the Illini can get a hoop, they go up by 3.
Timeout, Illinois. So with 2:12, you see right there on the top of your screen. And Purdue down by 1, 76-75. Well, an interesting second half we've got for you. The Illini leading by 10 at the half, 52-42, but they came back out, and the Boilermakers has been the story all year long, Dan, as you alluded to a moment ago. We can't seem to put anyone away because the Boilers came out quick. They hit about 4 quick field goals, and Illinois just couldn't buy a basket. They turned off cold. We were shooting about 15% there for about the first 7 minutes of the second half.
It's a strange kind of a second half. It seems like both teams have slowed down, and not only in percentages, they've walked the ball up the floor more. There's been a lot more pattern, although on the Illinois side, I don't think they've run enough. They've taken some shots and probably taken too soon in the offense. Norman, at least the way I see it, has probably been the guy who's done most of that. He's taken 6 shots in the second half, only made 1, and has forced up a few that resulted in Purdue baskets on the other end.
Purdue will get a little vacation, if you want to call it that, Dan, because they're not going to play until the 29th of this month when they travel to Ohio State. That's 1 week from tonight, the Boilermakers' next ball game.
Of course, the week they've had, they deserve a vacation.
And then, of course, the following Saturday, it'll be on the 31st. They'll play at Indiana. So Illinois will inbound the ball over on the side of the court. Altenberger. He'll toss it in with 2:12 to go. And Illinois hanging on by a point. That's Bardo with it. Kenny Norman. Out to Altenberger. Under to Jens Kujava. Back to Altenberger coming by, and there's a foul underneath that's going to be on Mitchell.
And he's gone. That's 5 on Todd Mitchell. So that's one weapon Gene Cady won't have in these final 2 minutes and 1 second. Mitchell guarding Jens, and there's the contact. Yeah, that's a tough foul to call. You know, it's not really that blatant a thing, but sometimes they call those and sometimes they don't.
Jens,
unfortunately for Todd, they did this time.
Kujava goes to the line, a 74% free throw shooter, making 17 of 23 on the year.
He's 0 for 1 tonight. These two would be huge.
Cool, calm, collected Jens Kujava. Boy.
Rattled it in.
78-75, 1:55 to go. Look at Stevens working around, and he is fouled by Blackwell. That's the 3rd on Glenn Blackwell. And Everett Stevens, who has caused a problem going coast to coast tonight. Weisinger couldn't handle him. Kendall Gill for a moment handled him, and that time right there Blackwell had trouble. Stevens going to the line with a 1-and-1. 1 for 2 there so far tonight, those coming early in the ball game.
Oddly enough, he's the worst percentage free throw shooter among the starters for Gene Cady. He's 13 of 23 heading into the night.
As a team, Purdue shooting only 66%.
He got both those.
78-77. Kenny Norman driving for the basket has just been fouled by Arnold. And that is the first foul on Arnold in the ball game, and Kenny Norman now steps up to the line. Norman, who has been pretty well covered up the second half, only 2 points on his side of the scoring page.
He's been dead silent. He's done almost nothing. The only basket he has in the second half was a garbage basket around the hoop. He laid it in off the board.
Well, he misses the foul shot.
Missed it badly.
Here comes the Boilermakers. That's Everett Stevens. Take it away beautifully by Illinois' Bardo.
Well, another big play by the freshman. Down to 127.
Kenny Norman really, Dan, looks a little bit negative out there. He's hesitant every time he gets the basketball. Here's Bardo.
Well, this may be one time when they have to do it without him. We'll see what happens.
Let's see what he does here. Back on the side is Blackwell. Jumper is out. Rebound is taken away. Altenberger, and it's picked up by Norman. outside. Blackwell has it, and it's going to be a problem now. Kenny Norman down. Lou Henson really upset because they didn't call a foul. They lunged into the top of Kenny Norman, and it's obvious because he can hardly get up over there.
Well, here's the play. It was not much more than a cross body block thrown in there by Doug Lee.
And Kenny Norman is going to be up and going to be all right. It's still 78-77 Illinois with 1 minute and 1 second to go, and the Boilermakers making a change. Coming on is going to be Tip Jones. Altenberger will put it in play. The clock shot is reset back to 44 seconds. Altenberger gets it into Bardo. Out to Norman. Now back to Bardo. The clock is in the red.
50 seconds left.
Altenberger.
30 on the shot clock.
To Bardo.
Well, they're just trying to burn a little bit here and see if they can't spring somebody free by spreading the floor. Shot clock to 19. Game clock to 32.
It's 78-77 Illinois. Altenberger looking back at the clock. Goes inside. Jens Kujava. Tipped up in the air. Next one taken away, and a foul on Kujava. Jens Kujava has fouled out of the ball game. And will take the walk to the other end of the court. And Purdue will have a 1-on-1 situation facing them.
Well, there it was as you saw Kujava go over the top. I'm sure that was not the shot that Lou Henson wanted. A 12-foot turnaround shot by Jens. Altenberger was trying to get the ball down to him. He was open, and the shot clock was down to about 3. There was no choice but to do it. It did not work out to Illinois' favor. McCants will shoot the free throws with 23 seconds left. So if he makes them both, Dick, Illinois is going to have the ball back with a chance to either win it or lose it on the last possession. The shot clock is history at this point.
Bill Coons is in there, you see, replacing Jens Kujava. And Melvin McCants will go to the line. An all-important 1-on-1 situation for him.
6 of 9, is that right? He's made 7 of 12 tonight so far. 6 of 9 in the second half. No.
Altenberger with a rebound. Here's a foul. It's on Stevens. Stevens fouled Bardo. And that's 4 on Stevens, and we'll walk to the other end of the court with just 20 seconds in the game. And Steve Bardo will shoot the 1-on-1 for Illinois.
That's a nice foul by Everett Stevens. He fouled him immediately to make sure that Purdue's going to have time to go down and do something with the basketball. Altenberger got the rebound. There's the foul. Stevens just riding Bardo away from the basketball. So the freshman, who has made 6 of 6 in the second half, heads up there one more time.
It's going to be a timeout now by Purdue. You knew that was going to come.
Gene Keady trying to ice the kid a little bit, see if it works. Bardo has done a very nice job, Dick, not only at the free throw line, but running whatever offense Illinois has had here since Weisinger went out with a shoulder injury. He's looked very good out there.
Well, we might want to mention, everyone, that our Illini Sports Network next broadcast is going to be Colorado, which will be a 1 week from Saturday at the Assembly Hall, as the Buffaloes will come into Champaign, as the Illini will kind of swing out of the Big Ten Conference for a moment and take on them as they will Arizona this Saturday. Next week, Illinois has 1 Big Ten game, and it's a big one, down at Bloomington, Indiana, against the Hoosiers.
Yeah, that Colorado game will be a different kind of game than Illinois fans are used to seeing. Colorado has a couple of big kids from Iowa, 6'9", 6'10". Good shooters, not real quick, very deliberate, and it will be a different kind of a tempo, I think, than Illinois people have seen lately with the Iowas and the Purdues and those type of people.
You know, Dan, with the talk of the postseason tournament in the Big Ten and the talking of going back to 14 scheduled conference games, it allow then for more of the non-conference games and for people in our area back home to witness some of the non-conference teams that come in. You'll see the Colorados, and I'm sure that Neil Stoner and the people in the administration will try to allure some of the Atlantic Coast Conference schools also, because they are another conference that doesn't play a complete schedule like some do, and so they allows them the movement to be able to play other teams outside of the conference in the latter part of the basketball season.
Well, I know this is the last place where they don't have a tournament. This in the Ivy League, I believe. The Pac-10's gone to one this year. I kind of like it the way it is, to be honest with you. I don't know if they can make it a fair schedule. If a team has to play 14 games and maybe not play Indiana twice or Purdue twice or Illinois twice. But that's down the line, and we got more important things to talk about right now.
Well, here's an important move right now for Steve Bardo. Misses it. Stevens.
Purdue with one shot to win it.
13 seconds. Rebound taken away underneath. And what's this going to be?
Bardo's been fouled, I'm sure. Bardo with a huge rebound, and Arnold fouled him.
6 seconds on the clock.
Here's the shot by Stevens. It did everything but go in, and Bardo right there for the board. 3 Purdue players trying to dig it away, and Arnold finally racked him. 6 seconds left. And Bardo, who finally missed one, gets a chance to atone right now. If he makes these, Purdue's going to have 6 seconds to launch a three-pointer, just like the other night against Iowa for the Boilermakers.
Well, he better make the first one. That's the important one. And Purdue, again, is going to take a timeout. Well, you see the Boilermakers now moving over to, I'm sure, not much discussion. Only to let Steve Bardo sit there with his fellow Illini teammates and worry about shooting the foul shot that he's going to have to do.
I'm sure Gene's over there setting up some kind of a three-point shot for these final 6. No matter what happens at the line, Purdue's going to have a chance to at least send it into overtime. And they've got some guys that can jack it up from out there. Stevens is good and Lewis is sensational. Mitchell has the range as well, and so does Doug Lee, but Mitchell's out with fouls. And Lee does not have a basket tonight in 6 shots. He's been shut out by Altenberger.
The other mystery is Kenny Norman's absent in the second half. Dan Rowan, only 2 points on a field goal.
Well, if Illinois can win, despite Norman's performance in the second half, and despite shooting 28%, it'd be almost a miracle. But they're going to have a great chance at it if Bardo can make these 2 free throws.
There you see the score, 78-77. And for a moment, about 45 minutes before we were to start the broadcast, we thought for a moment we weren't even going to get on the air, Dan Rowan.
Well, that would have been a shame.
The uplink truck failed to make it to West Lafayette, but it finally got here.
We may fail to make it home before it's all over.
I'll tell you, Ed Mathias can perform miracles.
That's
I think he sent up a weather balloon, and we're bouncing the signals off of that or something. At the line, Steve Bardo. Bardo with an important 1-and-1. The front half, of course, the most important part. It's just a little noisy, and understandably so. And that is the quickest way to slow things down. 79-77 Illinois. No one has moved from their seats. Bardo.
He made them both. Now Illinois gets timeout. I think what Lou Henson might do here.
Just let him go down and shoot.
Well, they won't do that. What they may do is foul quickly. Go slap at the ball, maybe draw a 1-and-1. And then Purdue's forced to go to the free throw line, and that takes away the three-point opportunity. They may be able to bank one off the rim or something and get a shot at tying the game if they make the first free throw. But I think it'd be a pretty wise move, and that's one of the things that people don't like about the three-point rule. You know, you can take a team's chance away from that line if you go ahead and foul them in the final seconds, and Illinois is poised to do that if that's what Lou chooses to do.
I think we said at the start of the broadcast, Dan Rowan, with both teams at 5-1 in the Big Ten play, that I'll tell you, a loss here today by one of these is really going to put them in a bad position if they want to have a shot at the championship, because Purdue has played Iowa at home. Now they've played Illinois at home, and then they're going to have to go to Indiana, Iowa, and Illinois again. So the Boilermakers really, with Iowa the only one coming to Illinois, the Illini really have got a little better edge right now. There you just see the timeouts left. Purdue with one, and Illinois are, of course, out of them.
You're right about that. 2 losses at home for Purdue would make it really tough on them to come back and win the conference championship, although as crazy as this league is, anything could happen.
Boilermakers came in here ranked 5th in the country, and the Illini, of course, had ranked 9th. Really interesting as you match up the two teams, as they both lost to Iowa and North Carolina, and both by identical margins. To Iowa by 3 and to North Carolina by 13.
Of course, this game is just half of the Big Ten's tremendous doubleheader tonight. Iowa and Indiana over at Iowa City just a few minutes into that game, I think.
And that should and probably will be a honey. Well, let's see what the strategy is here. You see Illinois is not guarding anyone, throwing the ball in bounds, and Doug Lee will throw it in. And Illinois' got 3 men back. That's Norman Altenberger and Kendall Gill. Bardo and Blackwell are the only ones up front.
Well, they throw it out of bounds to McCants, and now back to Lee.
And Lee is going to want a timeout with 4 seconds left.
Well, they only used 2, and that was a good call by Katie and the Boilermakers. Now they get 4 seconds to work something from half court. They don't have to go 90 feet or 75 feet, I guess it is anyway, or whatever it is from that 3-point circle back to the end line. You
got to give them the 3-point shot. That's what Katie is telling them. They got to have it. That's the only chance they have. 80-77. Illinois.
And from the Illinois standpoint, you want to put pressure on them defensively, but the last thing in the world you want to do is to foul a guy as he's letting go one of those 3-pointers. If it goes in and he gets a free throw, you're sunk. And I've seen it happen before. In the Indiana-Michigan game, Steve Alford had a 4-point play when he hit one and got fouled.
Well, we surely hope that the injury to Tony Weisinger is nothing serious. It was that shoulder problem that he had suffered with last year. And apparently the shoulder went out, but as Dan Rowan had said, we've got word up here that they've got the shoulder back in. But Weisinger is still not on the bench across the way. There you see it, 4 seconds left in the game, and the Illini by 3. Boy, Big Ten basketball, I don't care where you go, you ought to see a great basketball game. And we've seen them in our broadcasts that we've had. The game of Wisconsin, that was a honey. And we'll see them all through the year. Our next Big Ten broadcast, if I'm not mistaken, will be the Northwestern game at Champaign. I was a little bit surprised, Dan Rowan, of Minnesota being shellacked last night so easily by Ohio State up at Minneapolis. I thought the Gophers might give the Buckeyes a little better ball game. That Ohio State basketball team is one that's going to have to be looked at too. You know, they're not too far behind all of these front runners that people talk about.
That's very true. Illinois hasn't seen them yet. They've got a lot of talent. Okay, here we go. Lee will inbound it. 4 seconds left, and they need a 3-pointer to tie.
Lee will toss it in. And they get it to Everett Stevens. They get it back, and Doug Lee will shoot the shot. He's got it. It's overtime in West Lafayette, Indiana. Doug Lee, that's his first field goal of the ball game.
Wouldn't you know it? Give Gene Katie a whole lot of credit for designing this play. Everyone went with Everett Stevens. Nobody stayed with Doug Lee, who's a better 3-point shooter than Stevens is to begin with. And he hit nothing but cord, and we're going to overtime.
So we'll move to a 5-minute overtime. And it's all tied at 80.
A breakdown defensively by Illinois, but boy, what a clutch shot by Doug Lee.
This is absolutely bedlam in Mackey Arena right now. Doug Lee, that was about a 21-footer. The ball was in the air when there was nothing but zeros on the clock, and it ripped the bottom of the nets for a 3-pointer, and it's tied, and we go into OT.
I mean to tell you, this place went up like they'd won the national championship. It exploded.
Doug Lee, who was silent all game long, had only 2 free throws, those coming in the first half. But he hit the biggest one, and that was a 3-point field goal. Kenny Norman, Phil Coons, Altenberger, Bardo, and Blackwell will be on the court to start the overtime period for Illinois. Todd Mitchell has fouled out for Purdue. Lowell Hamilton and Jens Kuyava have fouled out for Illinois. For the Boilermakers, McCants and Stevens with 4 fouls apiece. Altenberger has 4 for Illinois. Melvin McCants will jump with Kenny Norman. Richie Weiler will toss the ball up. Batted around. Purdue has it. Down on the side, McCants. Now back to Stevens.
Illegal
Here's
pick.
McCants with a foul. He's gone.
5 on Melvin, and boy, what a tough way to pick it up.
It came with only 15 seconds gone in the overtime, and Melvin McCants has picked up his 5th foul.
Free throw time for Illinois.
McCants leaves with 17 points.
He had a heck of a game. Did a nice job at the line and was just a ton down in under the basket. Kip Jones is going to come on to replace him. And at the free throw line will be the hottest Illinois free throw shooter tonight, Steve Bardo, who's 8 out of 9, all in the second half.
Bardo has had his career scoring game for Illinois. His previous high was 11 against Loyola. This is Stevens with it. Flips over to Doug Lee. Slapped away by Altenberger. Picks it back up. Gives it off to Kip Jones.
I'd give Kip Jones anything.
Troy Lewis. Travels with the ball. Out of bounds. Illinois.
The overtime is not off to a very auspicious beginning. Missed free throws, turnovers, fouls on picks. Illinois has a chance to take the lead. And with the big guys gone, Dick, maybe Kenny Norman will get something going inside.
To Altenberger.
Trying to post up. Good release.
Great play underneath the Blackwell. Good feed from Norman. Blackwell has 18. Illinois 82, Purdue 80. We've played better than a minute of this overtime period. It comes to Troy Lewis. Now back down to the corner to Lee. Stevens, three-point try. Outside Lewis, slapped away by Blackwell right into the hands of Stevens. Shot is no. Out in front, Bardo has it for Illinois.
There's our man again, Bardo.
Boy, good feed by Coons and a great block and a recheck by Kip Jones.
Indiana Jones comes out of nowhere to swat that one away.
Outside is Stevens working off to Doug Lee. Troy Lewis, and now back to Stevens, to Lewis. Ball slapped around, picked up, and it's up and in by Arnold.
Arnold just kind of threw that one up. Lewis lost it in the corner. Arnold with a garbage hoop, and we're tied again with 3 minutes exactly to go in the overtime.
Kenny Norman. He's just been fouled by Arnold.
Three fouls on Arnold. Kind of a tentative pass. Arnold almost got his hand on it. Then, after stabbing at the ball, was late getting back to play defense. And Norman goes to the free throw line. He missed badly the last time he was there. He's only 1 for 3 tonight. A subpar night for Kenny, but these are big.
So Kenny Norman breaks the tie at 82 and makes it 83-82 Illinois with 2:53 left. Norman with the bonus. The second leading scorer in the Big Ten Conference. And Norman has notched both of them. Everett Stevens will work it back against Blackwell. Works around a pick by Arnold. Look out, Phil Coons. They almost got you shorthanded there. Lee with it. Underneath it goes Kip Jones. No. Tipped around outside. Troy Lewis's shot. Good. 31 in the game for Troy Lewis. And it's tied at 84.
2:20 left. They want Norman down on the baseline.
Blackwell. Oh, what a rebound by Altenberger. Jump ball, Illinois will get it.
No problem. Officials jump in there. Richie Weiler almost got an elbow to the head for his trouble, but they were just scrapping for the basketball.
So the ball out of bounds to Illinois, and you'll see by the replay, Altenberger really made it great. Looked like he was shoved a little bit there by Lee on that attempted shot. And Doug will put it in play for Illinois. Little shoving going on, and Phil Robinson steps in and talks to Phil Coons. He and Indiana Jones going at it outside of Bardo.
Fake whistle, foul on Everett Stevens, and Bardo's done it.
And Everett Stevens is gone. That's his 5th foul.
Stevens, Mitchell, and McCants all fouled out.
2 minutes, as you see right there on the top of your screen, to play it here in overtime. And Everett Stevens is gone, and now Gene Cady is going to have to look down on that bench. I would assume that it will be Tony Jones that he's going to call on.
Everett with 9 points. That's about 3 below his average. A nice job done on him by several people, including Bardo, who's at the free throw line now.
Taking a long time, but it is going to be Tony Jones.
Yeah, he gets a minute, Gene Cady does, and I think what he did was give his players a little blow there. As busy as they've been with that game against Louisville and the heartbreaker against Iowa Monday, and now this one going into overtime, these guys have to be whipped.
Steve Bardo at the line with 2 shots. And Bardo has missed his last 2 at the charity stripe after making 5 in a row. He misses both of them. Rebound to Purdue. Here comes Tony Jones. To Troy Lewis in the corner. Batted away by Bardo. Picked up by Lewis. Comes back outside to Tony Jones. Off to Doug Lee. Down on the side to Jones. Here's Lewis working. Outside to Arnold.
Well, they don't have many scorers on the floor without Mitchell and Stevens.
Here's a drive by Kip Jones. No, the rebound taken away by Altenberger. Scoops it out on the side. Picked up by Arnold. They reset the shot clock with 1:15 and running in the ball game. Tony Jones working over on the side. It's tied at 84. Look out, Lewis.
Deflected.
Kenny Norman has been fouled, and it's on Indiana Jones, better known as Kip Jones. His 2nd.
Boy, Lewis cannot believe he wasn't fouled on that play, and to me it looked like he was fouled too. We get a chance to see that one again. Norman picked the air ball. He'll get the free throws, but here's the play. Bardo was right there, and it sure looked like he fouled him. Illinois caught a big break if Norman can make these free throws.
Kenny Norman has broken the tie. It's 85-84 Illinois. Norman, who was silent most of the second half. Some clutch free throw work by the senior. Will accept this one too.
Got it.
86-84. Here comes
Tony Jones. Tony Jones has only shot 1 shot from the field, Dick, in the whole game. So
look out, Doug Lee fakes, drives, under the basket, up, no good, and a foul is going to be called. It's on Norman.
Well, they're talking about counting the basket. They do count it. Doug Lee with a great head and shoulders fake against Altenberger. Up into the air, body contact. Not a bad call. I think it was on its way down. And Lee will shoot for the Purdue lead with 59 seconds to play. He missed it.
Rebound to Kenny Norman.
Boy, he missed it badly, too. I can't believe that.
There's 48 seconds in the game, 40 on the shot clock. Bardo wants a timeout with 44 seconds to go. We'll be back with more on the Illini Sports Network. Well, it's an exciting Big Ten basketball game between Illinois and Purdue right here at Mackey Arena, and that's the overtime score, 86-86. It was tied at 80 in regulation play as Doug Lee hit a 22-foot jump shot at the buzzer. They were behind by 3. It was a 3-point shot, and it tied everything up at 80, and that's right where we are here, 86-86. And as we come back, Kenny Norman will go to the line, and a 1-and-1 for Illinois. Oh, wait, just check that. The ball.
Illinois had the ball and called timeout.
So
what happened. So
it's out of bounds to the Illini.
44 on the game clock, 36 on the shot clock. So Purdue's going to get it back one way or another.
Bardo just stands there and holds it. You see that shot clock at 28. That's the game clock you see up on top of your screen. We'll give you the shot clock as you can see the game clock. There's 20 on the shot clock. Bardo.
The shot clock is now more important than the game clock. Illinois needs to get moving. They throw it away.
Lynn Blackwell let the pass slip right through his fingertips, out of bounds. Purdue has it.
Now let's see if Katie goes for the timeout. He does. With 20 seconds to go.
Well, a tough break for Illinois, and Purdue with 20 seconds to go. They'll get the ball, and we're going to be back to watch right after this from your local stations. Well, there's some other Big Ten basketball games tonight, Dan Rowan, and some interesting scores to report.
Well, Ohio and Indiana, of course, the one everybody's watching. The Hawkeyes in front by 3, 15-12 early, and with 5 minutes and 20 seconds to go, it's Michigan State winning at Wisconsin by 6, 62-56.
The ball out of bounds to the Boilermakers across the way. It's tied here at 86. Just 20 seconds to play in overtime. And Doug Lee will inbound it. Norman is playing loose.
The free safety on the other end of the floor, and Illinois not guarding Lee, who's throwing it in.
I think I'd rather see someone else back there, too, with the help to Norman.
Well, they're having trouble. Now they get it to Arnold. He'll have to dish it up. And now they can retreat. But Lee's on the move.
Doug Lee has it to the side underneath Arnold. No good. Tipped way out on the side. Taken to the corner. Jones has it blocked away. Altenberger has it. Traveling is called on Altenberger with 3 seconds left.
I don't believe it. I do not believe it.
I thought he was dribbling the basketball, Dan Rowan. Let's check this for yourself.
Here's the kick out to the corner. Watch Bardo, or is that Norman? It's Norman. Smack it into the face. He put it on the floor.
The ball out of bounds to the Boilermakers with just 3 seconds left, and it's tied at 86. I don't even have to talk about it. You take a look right here.
To win it.
We will go to the foul line with no time left for the Boilermakers, and it's Indiana Jones. Kip Jones will have a chance to put it away for Purdue.
Here's the play. That's 2 times Illinois anticipated, Dick, that Purdue would just throw it into one guy and let him do the job. They passed it both times, got a guy wide open. Kip Jones needs to make one of these 2 to win it for the Boilermakers.
On the year, Kip Jones, a 48% free throw shooter. He has made 1 of 2 tonight.
The officials bringing the players up to the foul line. The horn hasn't gone off, but there's no time left on the clock. So it'll give you about probably half a second to go, somewhere less than a second. Enough time to tip one in should he miss both, but that's not likely to happen. What a way to lose a game, if indeed that's what happens to Illinois.
Kip Jones.
They're killing us up here. Gene Katie.
Hang on, Gene. It'll be over soon.
That ball almost came to rest on the back of the iron.
Lou Henson at the other end is standing. Fingers crossed, legs crossed.
The game isn't over, and I don't know what's happening down here. I don't know why Purdue doesn't get a technical foul for running onto the floor. Illinois was trying to pass the ball in bounds, and there's 25 people on the floor. And I think that's what happened. I think they're going to give him a bench tee. And if it's true, Illinois will have a chance to win the game.
That's exactly what's happened.
Unbelievable.
This will be really talked about for a good while, Dan Rowan.
A bench technical foul on the Boilermakers. The announcer, the PA guy, said one shot. I've got to believe it's going to be two.
Doug Altenberger will shoot the tee.
One or two. That is unbelievable. I've never seen that before. One.
The ball out of bounds to Illinois.
He missed the free throw. Illinois gets it with half a second to go at half court. They've got to lob it to the basket and try to tip it in.
Blackwell will toss it in. Bardo, it's all over. Purdue wins it. What a finish. Unbelievable finish. Purdue has beaten Illinois in overtime 87-86, and we'll be back with more on the Illini Sports Network.
For superior soybean weed control that costs up to $7 per acre less than Lasso or Dual, Sonolan. So flexible you can soil mix it in one tillage pass or two. So weatherproof it works if it rains too much or too little. So effective it controls tough weeds, even helps fight nightshade clear through harvest. And yet it won't carry over to injure next year's corn, milo, or wheat. Yes, soybeans and Sonolan. They're made for each other.
The Illini are on the move. Coach Lou Henson and his nationally acclaimed squad, led by Doug Altenberger and Ken Norman, are off to a tremendous start. Take advantage of this opportunity to see the Fighting Illini in action at the University of Illinois Assembly Hall. Order your tickets now by calling the Athletic Association ticket office. Show your support by calling today. Visa and MasterCard accepted.
This bud's for all that you do.
Carlos, I need 100 of these by Friday.
My friend, I'm retired. My son is running the business now.
Oh. You know just where you're going. It's true, your pride is showing, cause you make America work, and this bud's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
The European-like Drake Oakbrook Hotel is just a short 1/2 mile from the world-famous Oakbrook Shopping Center. 15 minutes from O'Hare Airport and 20 minutes to the heart of the Loop puts the Drake Oakbrook Hotel just where you want to be in Chicago. Show your alumni card or your booster card and qualify for the special Illini rate. Coach, when you're in Chicago, where do you stay?
Dick, I stay at the Drake Oakbrook Hotel, of course. There's something special about that place.
Well, Dan Rowan, one of the most exciting finishes you'll ever see, and one of the most weirdest finishes. Purdue having the free throws, and Illinois coming back with a floor tee. Had a chance to win it with Altberger at the line. One of those unfortunate things. The ball missed, and Purdue comes out of here with an 87-86 victory.
I'm still wondering why they didn't get 2 shots on that technical foul. Why isn't that a bench tee if the bench players got up off the bench and came out onto the floor and delayed the game? I don't know about it. We'll find out more about that later, but as it stands, boy, that is just a killer for Illinois to lose a game like that.
And we'll be back with a final comment after these messages.
Where can you find all these automobiles in one place? Monticello. Stroll Ford of Mercury is the dealer you can depend on for friendly hometown service and competitive pricing. Take exit 61 off I-72 and you're at Poling Chevrolet, where excellent selection and service will make a believer out of you. And talk about a large selection. How about Buick, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, GMC, Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge? They're all at Bill Abbott. These 3 dealers back the Illini and invite you to friendly Monticello for so many different automobiles all in one place.
True Value Hardware, it's more than a name.
Clear away outlet clutter with an 8-receptacle power strip from Master Electrician. It has a circuit breaker, lighted switch, and a handy 6-foot cord. In January, the Master Electrician 8-outlet strip is only $6.99. Look for the Hardware Value of the Month banner at most True Value hardware stores.
True Value.
For maximum performance, weatherproof your corn soil insecticide. Use Counter in furrow. Your protection won't be scattered by wind during application. And it's protected from heavy rains, so you put all of your insecticide to work in the soil. And Counter, with its unique Action 3, controls more major corn pests than any other insecticide. For superior control and proven performance, put your money where your crop is. Counter in furrow.
I think Susie brings a real sparkle to our news. I think it's in her eyes. I think it's in her delivery. I think all the experience that she's had in Central Illinois in broadcasting is it's invaluable. She's very professional, and she's willing to do anything it takes to get the news on. She's just as nice off the air as she is on the air. And I think that's one thing that she brings. If you're in a group and you've got a real effervescent person with you, that brings everyone else up, and that's the whole idea.
Suzanne Reed and Jerry Slave, weeknights at 6 and 10.
87-86 for Dan Rowan. This is Dick Martin saying so long from West Lafayette, Indiana.
From the Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, Indiana, this has been Fighting Illini Basketball. Fighting Illini Basketball has been brought to you in part by Alanco Products Company, who bring you Treflan and Sonolan for economical, dependable, full-season weed control in soybeans. By the Illinois State Lottery, yet another benefit of living in the U.S. of A. Play Cash Flow Instant Lottery. By Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. Also